Earlier, I spoke with Senator Dick Durbin of the Foreign Relations Committee, Majority Whip, and asked him about what comes next for Libya.
Well, I can tell you there'll be few tears shed for this bloody, ruthless dictator. On his back, of course, are the deaths of all of those innocent people in Pan Am 103 and the 2 American servicemen who were killed due to his act of terrorism. But I think what we need to focus on is the future of Libya, not its bloody past. And now they have an opportunity to govern and rule their country with new values and new standards. I think the United States, and particularly the NATO alliance, can take pride in the fact that they have given to the people of Libya a chance to rule their own future.
There are murky circumstances, to say the least, about the situation of his death, the circumstances of his death. Can we be sure there won't be revenge? How do we protect the Libyans from tribal warfare as the days go forward?
I'm sure the future of Libya will not be easy. There are many different factions. There's no clear leader. They need to go through the painful process that many countries go through to reach self-governance. It'll mean dedication, I hope, to some basic values that we share, so that there will be tolerance for people of different tribal backgrounds or different religious backgrounds, and so that they will try to come together. The good news is that this is not a basket case of a country. Their oil resources are such that they could have a very prosperous and good future without the dictatorial rule of Qaddafi.
Let me ask you about the economic issues right now, because Joe Biden is being roundly criticized by Republicans for having suggested that the failure to pass the jobs bill could lead to rape and murder, that already there has been more crime because of police and other security officials laid off. Is that the kind of language that we should expect from the Vice President?
Let me tell you what the Vice President said and make the record clear. When we have fewer cops on the beat, we have more crime on the street. That's a fact, and the numbers back it up. We have an amendment for the Senate to vote on today that's part of President Obama's jobs package that will make sure that we save the jobs of thousands of cops and firefighters and teachers across America by imposing a 0.5% tax on millionaires. I think it's far better for America to have safer streets, for our homes to be protected, and for these teachers to remain in the classroom. The crime rate that the Vice President referred to is a matter of fact.
You're meeting with Ben Bernanke, the Senate Democrats, seeking advice or giving him advice. What can you tell him about the work of the Super Committee and whether there's going to be a way to avoid drastic sequestration after November 23rd?
The chairman of the Federal Reserve, Ben Bernanke, will be speaking to the Senate Democratic Caucus lunch primarily about the situation in Europe, where at least 5 or 6 nations are facing serious economic problems that are rippling through Europe and even into America. We want to put this in perspective. And now, Bernanke was right in the front seat and watched what we went through just a few years ago when we were forced to come up with a bailout of the biggest banks, Wall Street banks, and financial institutions in America. So we're anxious to hear his analysis. The Super Committee, now they're still at work and have about 2 weeks before they need to present a preliminary draft to the Congressional Budget Office. I met with them this week. The Gang of 6, a bipartisan group of senators, met and we gave them our advice. I don't know if they'll take it or go in our direction, but I certainly hope they get this job done. It's a momentous responsibility, and it could really help if we can come to a bipartisan agreement.
And briefly put, your advice is?
Well, the advice we gave them is that we think they should go big. Their charge is to cut $1.2, $1.5 trillion over the next 10 years. Our group, Gang of 6, reached over $4 trillion in deficit reduction. I think that would have a positive impact on future economic growth. We've got to phase it so that we focus on creating jobs now and getting through this recession, but then make meaningful cuts in spending and raise revenue, bringing everything to the table. That's what the Gang of 6 did, and that was our recommendation to them.
Senator Durbin, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you, sir.